Leader, thank you very much, and those are very inspiring words for all of us here. Very fitting that we're here at the Canadian Legion here in Ajax, the Legion which also began the Highway of Heroes commemoration on the bridges. I want to, as you've mentioned, point out a couple of people who, for without today, we might not have quite the same day. The gentleman over there with the medals, the first one you see in the red, is none other than Private Jan de Vries, 1st Parachute Battalion, among the first boots to hit the ground at D-Day, 6 hours before the invasion. We thank you, Jan. You've done great work for this country. Jan is also, Leader, Mark Holland, is also, as you well know, a Order of Canada recipient. He was also responsible, almost single-handedly, brick by brick, for building the Juno Memorial that we now celebrate at Benny-sur-Mer in France. Thank you. Now behind him is a guy who should be up here doing some photography, but he's a very, very timid man, but yet you'll see him there, although he is more or less a little older than me, but less gray hair. Is none other than a man who was wounded in Italy in 1944 with the Perth Battalion. Is a good friend of the Legion, good friend of those at the Tony Stacey Centre who have been caring for our veterans and their spouses. Introduce Private Ken May. Ken, thank you. Over here, Leader, is another individual. I'll try to move back here, a little bit of focus.
Fire Chief has just come.
The Ajax Fire Chief, Mark Diot, has just arrived. Mr. Diot, please make his way here. Thank you, Mark. Come on up. That's from the other Mark. Over here to my side, Leader, is someone else, everybody you should know. This is Sergeant Dan Martin. Sergeant Dan Martin took over when his leader was killed in action in Afghanistan. He then led his troop in the forward operating bases for 6 full months, provided them encouragement, and under tremendously hostile type of environments, has come back simply asking the Canadian government one thing: a badge recognizing the effort of our Canadian soldiers during Operation Freedom, Everlasting Freedom. They have not got that badge from the government. Dan, we're here to tell you we're going to do it. We're going to get it done. Thank you, Sergeant. Finally, Leader, and this is personal, there's a fellow over here who you would only recognize because you would think perhaps that he's just another person you want to have a coffee or a beer with. But this is the individual who's the repatriation officer who comes with us to Trenton every day for the lost Canadian soldiers who've given their lives in defense of this country. He's a very humble man. He's standing with us today. He's a recruitment officer for the armories in the West End, but he's also a very big friend of the community. He's a big friend, began the Wounded Warrior Fund, and I'm referring, of course, to Captain Wayne Johnson. Captain, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a day for us to celebrate. This is a day for us to recognize the men and women who put their lives on the line for us every day. We are not deserving of all your great efforts, the great history you've provided. Leader, it's an honor to have you here. Mark, thank you for the organization. Ladies and gentlemen, let's enjoy the afternoon, and we thank the Liberal Express for making a very important stop in a very important area of the country, which began with its effort with the Dominion Industries Limited back in 1942 and 43. A lot of great stories come from this place. Leader, we're proud to have you here. Thank you for having us.